All right, here we go. Game 3. Golden Guardians has been the better team slightly, but the most impressive thing has been their ability to pull the trigger. Now, this game's going to be a little bit different because now you've got these big baddies, Cassante, Ornn, Maokai, combination ultimates for sure. Big, beefy team fight. Very low damage, though. Very, very low damage. So expect to see the Maokai, which we haven't seen much of, definitely going for the AP build. I don't expect to see Roa, which did come out with some popularity, but I expect to see Leandries into Demonic or Leandries into something like Morellonomicon now that it has the healing reduction and the spell pen attached to it. And being 90% of the magic damage that this team is going to deal, should be able to get away with itemization like that is full spell pen, or early damage like this. The damage will stick onto champions like Vi and Gnar, although Gnar will be using Fleet Footwork and probably Legend Bloodline, almost definitely. Going to be very interesting to see this put together, because opting for a triple tank plus Zeri, you're putting a lot of your eggs into the Stixxay basket. An enemy team has Syndra, Thresh, Vi, so they are able to lock down this champion for sure. Now, love what River's doing here, going into the enemy jungle and saying, I can take your Raptors right off the cuff. Now, Vi opting for a blue start, and sometimes I prefer to see blue wolves first when you're on that side of the map. Save yourself the blue buff for a little bit longer. It also helps the wolves to spawn faster, so that you can get a slingshot level 6 quicker. But Maokai taking the read that they can just take everything. A little bit misuse of the birthday present there, the sapling. You want to walk those minions in together to make sure that they're taking the aggro together. Make sure that the sapling pops on both. But however, it is a small thing, and River is about to get the good news as he sees the Vi cross into the southern quadrant, and nothing is to be had. And now, because she's coming over, they say, yep, we can make this play right now. Good flash there. You cannot peel the Maokai twisted advance. Uses flash to make sure that Thresh cannot use the hook as a way to get out, right? Of course, what Thresh was trying to do, Q1, Q2, flash over, right? And you just jump over the fight that way. Ends up getting none of it. Now, Junjo walking over another ward. So love this setup from Gory. You say, all right, I'm going to let that ward linger. That ward is about to go out, and there it goes. It dissipates right now, 310, common time. In the meantime, I'm going to put this one out saying, hey, what's the answer that's left to Vi? It's to come try to invade. So now she's stuck taking aggro on the Krugs. Ornn is going to have this angle, and absolutely they're going to look to take this fight. No, they opt out. I don't like that. They had her pinned. They could have moved over. Annie was moving over. They were strong in every direction. Now Cassante showing how impossible he is to take down in the mid-wave. I think this champion will be too strong until they nerf the Q mana cost. And really, they wanted to wait forever, I think. They want this champion to be strong. They want to catch. They want to broaden their player base. They want champions like Cassante to be available to get more people to enjoy the game. But this is ridiculous, right? The fact that you can just hold on to a Syndra, go 50-50 on the wave clear, have more mana as you finish pushing in the wave, and more health, and she used her potions. I mean, come on, man. Riot, let's talk about this. This is Syndra, guys. Syndra missing 2 potions and being first pushed back out of their lane in her own lane against Cassante. This is not okay. So, anyways, Cassante's showing exactly how strong it is, why Faker played this champion mid for whatever it was, 73 games in a row, what he did. It's strong. It's hard to move. And champions like this, right? These champions, beefy brawlers, often just succeed even better in mid-wave. It is so hard to get them out, even after the nerfs to Doran's Shield, which did do a good job of getting some champions out of mid. That you just don't want to have them there. It's still like, look how strong this is. And now he's got the Merc Treads to boot, meaning that the crowd control that comes from a Thresh roam, not going to be enough paired with the Syndra. He's going to be able to shrug it off. presumably has some other tenacity somewhere else in the page as well, which is not something that you always need on Cassante, right? Because you've got the W, right? You can shield a lot of this anyways. So in some case, yes, I like Merc Treads as a, like, hey, this is offensive and defensive in my lane. It does a lot of work for me. Sure, it's good. But I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't last the entire game, right? If after 3 items, you might see these Merc Treads turn into plated steel caps. But they might be opting saying, hey, I have to be the front of my team, right? I need to be in front so that Ornn can create angles on the ram and so that Maokai can be AP, right? Now, Maokai opting for the Lucid Boots does mean that you'll have extra smites available. Does help your clear. Also, because you have such a large percentage-based damage on the Q, just getting more Qs can be better than having a better Q. Also, your ability to litter the forest ground. Nice movement there. Huhi getting a great shield on Stixxay, so he's able to dodge that hook and that damage. But yeah, the extra time, right? You get more wards, more saplings into the bushes and into the river, which is super important when your source of preemptive damage is all going to be from that. Look at Stixxay getting out. Now, Huhi potentially did not need to step that far up. They maybe knew that she would be able to get out. Annie needs to be aware that Zeri has that path out as well. So PSG finds a point of strength for themselves, and this is something we did speak about, that if Zeri is your only sustained damage, you better watch out about the enemy team coming and forcing fights down in the bot wave. Now, Gory, look at that upfront damage. My goodness. Even taking a turret shot and all the spells back from the Syndra, it's still enough to say, like, hey, like, we can take this fight. And in fact, he takes it to the Thresh because he's already at 40% health. Why not? Just take it anyways. Now they're going to have it Annie flash stun. Gory is going to just continue cleaning up this fight. Flashes forward. This is going to be Q3 knockup. No, keeps the Q3. Was able to get it done before then, showing the strength of the all-out. Now this is something, right, you don't really mention too many times on Cassante, but when you rush boots, right, those boots actually translate into all-out damage. Not just extra movement, right? Extra movement to get around the fight and deal more damage yourself, but it's also extra stats that you get to absorb as you go all out. So let's check it out, right? He's already at 60% health. He's just happy to take this angle. Woody making the angle right there. Thinks that he has to run away from Maokai. Instead, just gets locked up here. Flashing towards the Raptor Pit, I have to assume that's actually a mistake, right? You just got brought to the wall here. Maybe thought that if you flashed to his teammates that they'd be able to continue and be strong through this fight. But instead, it just means that another one's going to get wiped out. Thresh could have flashed the red pit, and that probably would have been the end of the play. I don't think Cassante would have burned Flash to go get that kill, would have just opted to continue being stronger for the rest of the fight. If he did, then that would have left Annie strung to dry against Syndra and Vi. So definitely a mistake by Woody. Now here we go. The strength of Maokai. A little bit late to the pit, however, so unable to express that advantage. Normally you just want to keep getting these saplings out. Now something that you do often do. Oh, good job by Aji using the Nara window to get a trade off. You see Ornn using Bellows Breath to not get locked up, but it's not enough to stop this amount of presence. But yeah, with River's Maokai, you'd like to get some of those bushes. They don't all need to be in bushes. Bushes are nice, but you don't need bushes. Bushes, extra damage is not really the point. You're doing it for extra vision. There's so many extra tools afforded to you, and it looks like in that case, by going by dropping saplings in the 2 bushes, they were a little bit late on the contest of the Herald, and they had to give it up. Oh, Stixxay thought about jumping in. That would have been crazy. All right, so even game, 3-3 in kills, 0-0 turrets, 16k a pop. Despite the Cassante being huge, we have an equally large Vi on the enemy team. Maokai has died twice. River not taking control of his namesake. And now we do have a negative wave state right here. Aji will be able to freeze, but he's opting not to. What are you trying to get done right now? Narbar? Teleport? is down. Maybe he's thinking pushing and I can go and get to the dragon pit. That's got to be his thought process, but is it even that good? Jinx and Thresh already have their items in, so you've got Berserkers plus Noon Quiver here. Licorice opting to use his HP to trade this off. Now, Aji's saying, all right, this is what I can create for myself. A permanent lead here. Make the orange stick around and or use a teleport. Look at those control words being placed down. Junja's not going to... He gets the cannon. Little trick. If you do get in that spot, zoom in. Use your mouse wheel. Zoom in exactly to the spot. So right click over the ward or close to it, use spacebar so that it's right on your champion, and then zoom in, and then right next to you, you'll be able to see those three things. And instead of being small little pixel size things, they'll be the size of pillars, and you'll be able to click on the lantern. So, these pros have sharp eyes. Sometimes they can just do it for themselves anyways. They can hit that click. Ooh, Aji blowing his load right there for nothing, which means that he isn't able to express this into the dragon. Licorice playing the angle, a little bit of an angle shoot there in the top lane, saying I can hold on to this, right? Living dangerously though, because Aji did have access to another ultimate. Don't know that you can expect to get Bellows Breath off in response to it. He'll certainly be looking to do that, or at least to trade back and say, hey, I can knock you up and then dash out myself. Or use the dash against the turret like he just did to get that little trade. And then Aji saying, I'm going to use my ultimate. Now, not really that bad to burn an ultimate on Gnar, right? It comes up so quickly. Basically, the next time that you're mega, you're almost going to have it up anyway, so it's not the end of the world. But it does mean that he wasn't in position. He wasn't able to go get this. Now, PSG, we've talked about this before. They like to make these last plays late on the timer for the plates. Now, this is a little bit earlier than what they're used to. Normally, they do it around 13:20, and they try to make a position of strength. So, can we counter here now? Now, Waco is susceptible, ends up having to flash. They get the engaged Maokai. Ultimate Twisted Advance is coming for, the, whatever that's called, Dendrite something. And instead, they end up being weak, or they end up, so check out the counterplay here. Golden Guardians. Now, if I'm coaching Golden Guardians, I'm saying, hey, we're playing great, but we can't let them keep on bleeding us at 13 minutes. So prior to 13 minutes, let's get into position and actually see if we can counter a play. Don't know if that's what happened or not. Inero is with the team. I don't know if he's still with the primary coaching position with the team. I think not, but the still hanging out. I know that he thinks in this way, right? If you can prepare your team for what is going to come, right? Not just always reacting like, hey, we have to do this better in this situation, but like, how can you prepare? That's one of those situations. Enemy team, if they're always going to be 13-minute aggressive, then you can exploit that, right? And this is where game theory optimal comes in, something from poker. You don't want to always do the same thing. As good as it is, right? As good as I think that the 8-minute, the top to bottom, starting at 6:30, you gank top, you bring 2 people to mid, you gank mid, you bring 5 people to the bot, and then you rotate lanes over for the Herald, and you keep top lane down bottom with their teleport up. As good of a play as that is, I don't want to do it 100% of the time, right? It becomes exploitable if you do it too much. If you do it something like 50%, 60%, and then you have 2 other plays that you can do 30 and 10 or 35 and 15, something else that mixes it up. If you're always doing the same thing, which is, hey, we're going to try to put side lane pressure at 13 minutes, then you become exploitable. And you see that happened right there. Cassante was in position as they pressed up. They overextend trying to get Herald, and they take a big chunk of damage down. And that's where a champion like Maokai is actually exceptional, right? Maokai very good at punishing mispositions. All right, now here we go. Let's take stock. Gnar is, of course, up ahead as they are wont to be. Vi is the benefactor of getting those early kill on River. So, of course, no gold disadvantage there. The support one is meaningless, just an assist. Actually, no, the kill for themselves. Thresh picking up that kill. You would have liked to see that advantage onto Jinx. So instead, we see a completed Immortal Shield Bow and a completed Jack Show. Before anything is done. There's the Kraken Slayer being picked up by Jinx. 15 minutes, a little bit later than you would have liked, especially based on how much they were able to get in the bot wave. Now let's see. She's going to rotate mid. Yes. Now, Zeri and Annie can take this moment for themselves to finish off this turret. This can be an answer to Herald 2, right? So if enemy team is definitely going to rotate mid, if they're going to bring their bot lane to mid and they're going to be strong for the Rift Herald, you can take that moment of being 2v1 or 3v1 in the bot wave or v0 and get that turret down for yourself. So by syncopating, by waiting, you kind of create the same prize that they've gotten for themselves, right? They created the Rift Herald, which is meant to break a turret. Well, you just broke a turret and you did it with about a Rift Herald charge worth of health. So good trade there by Golden Guardians. And now they'll go match. Now Ornn pathing up to top is interesting. He has the teleport, so perhaps saying that they want him in the shorter lane, easier for him to tuck back into a wall. But Cassante would be better into the Gnar if it came up. Now Cassante also going to be happy to like take these waves and rotate over, try to catch flanks potentially, but not really as good again at forcing a fight as the Ornhorn would be. So I'm a little bit surprised by this combination. We'll see what ends up coming of it. Ornn level 11, very difficult to gank. Also rushing the Frozen Heart. So going for those extra cooldowns, going for the stacking armor, saying this is going to be most valuable to me here. Probably going to become Merc Treads. Yep, and there it is. Finishes the Merc Treads just behind his turret. Ornn things. They are looking for long fights. Look at that knock-up. Beautifully done. Annie getting the chain CC. They blow up the minion wave as they go. Now, they're not going to have enough to actually continue this fight. A little bit missed damage there. It wouldn't have been enough anyways, and such is the nature of super low damage combinations, especially if you go Frozen Heart instead of something like Jak'Sho. But you can see they expect these fights to go long. They're going to play patiently. They're going to let Maokai just whittle people down because with an early Thresh pick, you're like, okay, all right, you're not going to be healing anybody up anytime soon. So this damage should stick. And the Maokai rushing that Demonic Embrace, going to go Liandry's Anguish next, almost assuredly. Sometimes you see things like Even Shroud. And in rare cases, you could see like Shurelya's or even Imperial Mandate is playable, but Imperial Mandate would still play into the theme for the team. Very curious to see what River wants to do next. Now, I haven't even checked this, but since the changes to Demonic Embrace in the jungle, I'm not positive that Demonic Embrace is still better than Liandry's. In fact, I'm fairly certain it's not. The thing that it does afford you is the extra health, which is very nice. Making sure that as a jungler, you're the one going into dangerous positions the most often on your team, right? You're crossing through fog all the time. So the extra health can help you out. It's still clearing. It's still good. You don't need many more cooldowns, right? You're still doing one spell per camp, more or less. So the demonic still like plays better. But as far as like jungle time clearing, I'm guessing Liandry's is just better at this point. But we'll see. What is it going to be? Even Shroud. If you're quick in the comments, what would you build here? Would you build Imperial Mandate, Even Shroud, Liandry's Anguish, something else? Abyssal Mask? Can't be Abyssal Mask. You're your team's only source of magic damage. There's no way. I gotta say no way. Yeah, there's only a Syndra here. Even though Abyssal Mask Maokai is fantastic, but what would you build? Let me know in the comments. Now, River, kind of dutifully on the map, has not shopped in an age. It's been a long time. Really doesn't need to. Once you have Demonic Embrace, you're just so efficient at killing these camps. 2 Qs basically does it in for every camp. Krugs takes a third one with the respawns. But all that extra pen that you get in the jungle, the extra % health that the Q does to the monster camps, just makes it so easy to clear. And we finally see some purchasing here. Just cooldown, more cooldown, but there you go. Looks like it's going to be Jak'Sho. Does it actually? Kindle, I'm perplexed. I don't know why I would build like that. I guess we'll find out. Shield from Annie, letting the Maokai get into some better positions, but you have to be careful. You are not tanky at all. If Vi realized that the Maokai was mostly alone and that the anti-shield was down, probably should have realized it. Could have gone for a kill there. This is not tank Maokai, right? This is very easily burstable. You can get this kill. I don't like that Maokai's going for that ward. Just let the Zeri take it. Maokai is definitely a pick that is worth getting, right? It's not just Zeri. Yes, it is a overall 1 damage comp, but Maokai with the Demonic Embrace, with the saplings, right? Look how much presence they're putting out. They're putting out wards on the beach. The Maokai is putting a sapling into the river on cooldown, or on the beach on cooldown, and that's going to create into damage over time. Also, interestingly enough, not going for First Strike, not going for Dark Harvest, or even Comet, is opting for the Phase Rush, which is very much a get in, get around the fight quickly motion. Very easy to proc it as Maokai, because an E, likely to just incidentally get one off, and then your ultimate plus your W, there you go, there's Phase Rush. So basically you get to lock someone up, press your Q, and then reposition in the fight. Does play very nicely, just like it does with Alistar. Plays very favorably with the kit. Still interesting, like, if you are your team's source of magic damage, is Imperial Mandate going to cut it for the team? I don't know. Gory on point. Sussing out Syndra damage, even over the wall, which is exceptionally hard to dodge. Maybe it was, yeah, it'd be hilarious to think like, yeah, I was just dashing because I had somewhere to go. You just dash when you have someplace to go. But happens to coincide with it. Now, check it out. Shurelia's Reverie being used. This is going to be Waco going for some upfront damage, but has to be careful in this front to back into these 3 beefcakes. How does Jinx find the first kill? That is what it's going to come down to. Now, something I don't like here. Stixay, take a moment, kill that ward for your team. The most OP ward killer in the game. Here they go. They've got the fight on Aji. They're going to take this fight on the right. Absolutely going to go for chain CC. Annie gets plugged out on her own, but they're going to be happy to take this kill. Now they have to finish this chase. No, do not turn back. Do not. Turning back's a mistake. You're splitting up with your team. Now this is never going to be good. Now, was it Golden Guardians that accomplished it? Oh, they found Gory on a flank angle. That's what they opted for. Zeri popping in. They're saying, we can go up front with this damage. We've got all the beefcakes, but you need to be precise here. Zeri is looking now. Zeri does not get hooked. Sidesteps just a very little bit, where Thresh misses tiny bit. Waco getting up front damaged. Licorice not able to get it. Gory still alive. Everybody on the edge, and Jinx pops. GG playing that fight on the edge, reminding me of the old Rocks Tigers. Holy crap, if they can continue doing that all tournament, then they are going to win this thing. No joke. That was insane to watch. And yeah, taking this, they're going to have to juggle these shields very, very well. Gory actually stepping back while shield was up. You'd like to actually tank one more hit. As scary as it is when you're that low, you just want to constantly be juggling the shields here. They opt to just teleport in the Ornn, make it easier, make sure that we're killing it that much faster, just in case Nara decides to teleport in, which again, I love proactive plays. So a slight discrepancy here when they split apart. They say, hey, we've got enough, we've got this kill, you guys can go contest the rest. But that can open yourself up to weakness, right? So Annie going off to the flank, good job by PSG saying, hey, let's just like button down the hatches. And here's the engaged Ornn into Maokai. Now, everyone lines everyone up. It was Cloud9 that put Yone together with this, right? The common play that everyone makes. We'll talk about it later. Look at Gory's position. All out, sliding around the fight, waiting for cooldowns, comes back. Good juggling of cooldowns here. But Waco not quite realizing that he has a window to go forward just a little bit more. Stixay with the upfront, with the charged up difference. Junja getting in and getting out, but look at that Stixay dealing damage on the backside. So accurately done by Stixay. What an incredible job they've done. And there's the upfront. They get the pick on Jinx. That's going to be all she wrote. My goodness, what a team. Golden Guardian's going to win themselves some fans. Hello. This team is looking crazy good. Now, Gnar did split push all the way to the turret, did force Ornn to come back. He has no teleport. Cassante and Ornn each have no teleport. Syndra and Gnar do. So this is your moment. You have to try to make a proactive play here. Say, hey, we've got them down on 5 ultimates. There's 5 ultimates missing. We've got to do something. Lock them into place. They're low enough. Try to catch one of these players. Maybe the Annie or maybe the Maokai. Ends up getting nothing for themselves, which means the inhibitor is down and we have achieved a checkmate. There's a few more moves to go. But this will be everything beautifully done. Cleanse into the Lantern. But Thresh not able to peel one more step. Oh, Q3 into Zeri damage. Just enough to get the Jinx. And Zeri showing why she's perfectly balanced. All right, so what's the technique? Strong in the middle. We've got Cassante. Yep, this makes sense, right? Ornn front to back here, the better front to back champion. Cassante, the better flanker. Ornn will be able to still reach even in a front to back situation, can still have range on his ultimate. Now, I like what Aji's doing, right? We can't survive this. Let's go get a point of strength for ourselves. I expect them to try to give this inhibitor. Now, the question is, do they actually die in this position? 2 ultimates being used to get forward. This is fine. This is what you want. If you're PSG, this is what you want. You expect to lose a little bit, and you gain this top inhibitor. Give yourself a chance to win. Junja actually dashing forward and using his smite to cancel the recall of Gory, which means Gnar is going to finish this turret for himself. So, PSG has a breath of life. The problem is, a minute and a half down on the inhib timer in mid. The bottom one has just been taken. Supers are already down your throat. The play is very easy from Golden Guardians. You just bring your entire team top. They're going to bring this wave in. They're going to just combat. For the supers, they even have lingering vision in the southern quadrant to get information here. And it is only Dragon 3. It is completely inconsequential. You will not be getting soul this game. The checkmate will happen too quickly. But PSG has a point of strength, a chance for a win. Now, the way to beat this, you're going to have to syncopate the way that the supers are coming in. Now, supers in the long lane are much more apt to stack up, right? It's a longer lane, higher chance for the supers to stack up. You don't want to deal with 2 supers coming in all the way to your base. So what you might expect is Gnar to go chip away at the super right now, and then the whole team will go push up through mid, saying, okay, we'll get rid of the supers that are closest to our base, create a pushing wave mid, and then we'll force the fight against you. Right? Because wallet-wise, you're not that far ahead. Yes, you have a difficult composition. It's going to be very difficult. Oh, it is. Look at that. The anathemas chains from Cassante. But when you press up like this, you say, all right, we will force this fight. We will create this angle. And even though it is a low chance of winning, it is our best chance of winning. But it looks like they end up just folding backwards. They kite away 2 ultimates, which means they give up another turret. That being said, only Thresh ultimate was used defensively, whereas 2 ultimates were used aggressively. We had Ornn and Maokai, the longest range, and it looks like they're going to turn their attention to Dragon. I don't like this. You did not need to do this, right? You could have let the supers do the work, let the fight come to you. You did not need to force for that inner turret. You have incredible vision control in the western quadrant. Could have just let that bleed over. Now, Zeri, your E is on cooldown. Be very careful, please. I don't like you going for this wave. This wave is pushing in. You're just giving it to the Jinx a little bit faster. It's not going to stop anything as far as momentum. It wouldn't change the timetable for them getting to Dragon. So all you're doing is giving it to the Jinx faster for the Jinx to be able to position into the Baron Pit sooner. Now, they've taken down all the structures except one more inhibitor and inhibitor turret. So with this amount of gold in pocket, are they saying this is it? Zeri says it's time. 4 items, including the Ornn upgrade and the stopwatch. So this is as big as she's going to be relative to the game. Just colossally huge, right? Rocking that 700G shutdown, which you rarely see in pro. Oddly enough, this Gnar at 0 and 1 is rocking a 200 gold bounty. 327 CS, constantly on the split push duty. Was able to get that super wave minion in the top. Now, here we're going to see the pressure of what the supers afford in mid wave, right? When you have this extra advantage. Now, the respawn of the inhibitor is going to stop this last super from coming in. right? So because it's the timer, you don't actually get one more super. You're just missing out. Now Stixay taking it to the Vi. Absolutely love this play. Team is engaging on Woody and Waco, right? They're going to be putting all their pressure on the Jinx. Cassante almost able to one-shot the Jinx. Fair and balanced, everybody. And Zeri was able to take out the Vi with no problem whatsoever. Going to clean up this fight as well. Even going into a Syndra, which would normally be kind of suicidal. Knows that she has the Immortal Shield Bow, so she's always going to win that. And they end up getting some trades for themselves, right? 2 kills for 1 is enough to go get this Baron buff, which will allow them to recollect. Jinx, however, does escape, which means she's going to plug in, grab the super wave for herself, catapult herself to 4 items. Jinx is getting scary big as well, and you have to start wondering at what point you're going to get critical mass from this Vi, Jinx, and Syndra combination, right? If they're able to 100-0 somebody, doesn't matter who, anybody. Maokai probably the most likely target, maybe Annie next, but probably Maokai. And if they get enough damage, then maybe even Cassante, honestly. Although Cassante with that anathema is making sure that he can just build armor for the rest of the game. And like I said, I expect to see that Merc Treads get changed, but we'll see about that. But if the 100-0 time to kill gets low enough where Jinx is able to go crazy, and Jinx gets that before Zeri's able to stack up in the fight, then we have a problem, okay? They have given up the checkmate sequence. Going for that dragon means that, sure, nice, they've got another conditional maybe win in extra dragons, but the game's going on. It's getting longer. Jinx is going to have an opportunity to carry this game. Both inhibitors are up, even though they have the Baron up. So let's see how they go with the technique. Again, over pushing mid. You do not want to do this. I cannot stress this enough. When you push this wave in, all you're doing is giving it to the enemy team. You're just letting it push forward. Now your team has nothing, right? What's left in mid wave? Now, if you're the Ornn, it should be the opposite. All right, now here we go. Baron buff mid waves. Now this is perfect, right? You want this wave to get in right now. This is fine. You get that wave in, you push mid at the same time. There's no turrets. You get to play aggressively, and then you get to play the top wave, rotate over to mid wave, rotate over to top wave. Ornn's going to go clear this out while Gory holds onto this wave, stymies this wave, which will allow his wave to stack up in bottom. Expect an engage, though. I don't like where Waco's positioning. They had a chance right there to go. Even though it's Gory, even though it's Cassante, you have to go after that. You've got Annie there as well. Those players... you are able to pick that. You have enough damage to up front this, and here they go. They finally decide to go for it. They get the 100-0, and now Jinx is going crazy, and this is what we're talking about. Look at Huhi. Damage in the fight. Now Zeri is able to get it. Oh my gosh, she just cracked how big she is. And Zeri, are we going to get a Stixay Zeri pentakill? I think they're going to try for it. They're going to give. Ubao is not going to give it, but Zeri, teammates are going to do it. Expect to see, let's see, any tools left? We have a heal from Annie. They're very much trying to get Zeri into position. Now, Zeri actually has to step back, realizes it can't be taking turret aggro. If you walk into a Syndra clutch E while you're taking turret, you might actually just die. PSG, love that they pulled the trigger, just a little bit too late to really make full effect. Oh my gosh, they really wanted this. They wanted the super. Oh my gosh, it's so close. Annie, not even Tibbers, just a fade away, walking away. They get it. 3-0 Golden Guardians. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of how this team is playing. It's crazy cool. They're fun to watch. Look for this team to make some impressions in the main draw. They're playing great. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps the channel out a lot. I'll catch you guys next time. Keep it surreal. Peace.